Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Rogue Legacy. If you've been watching the channel for at least a couple of months, this is probably a game that you're very familiar with, but it's also a game that I'm very excited about. This is totally up my alley, and not to spoil things right off the bat, but I definitely am going to be starting a series on it. In fact, as this video goes up, there might even be like an episode 1 of a Northernlion Plays. But let's take a more critical bend for our look at Rogue Legacy here for the Let's Look at. But anyway, Rogue Legacy is essentially an action platformer with roguelike elements. Might be a good way to put it if you're not familiar with what roguelike elements are. Basically some procedural generation in the form of different dungeon layouts, different enemy placements, and different treasure and loot that you can pick up from different placements in the game. Anyway, what's really unique, the principal gimmick, I guess you could say, behind Rogue Legacy, if we go all the way back here, and this is the final version. I've only spent about half an hour with this one so far, but I did spend a ton of time with the demo, and it seems very, very similar to it. I mean, to be fair, the demo did only come out like 2 months ago or a month ago or something, so it makes sense. But anyway, the principal gimmick here is that every time you play a character in Rogue Legacy, it is the heir of a previous character. So, this character, Lady Antoinette, the stout barbarian, she died, but now you can play as one of her offspring. And each of these offspring have kind of a class as well as some personality traits. So this class is a knave. It's a risky hero with low stats, but it has critical strikes. So that's in contrast to something like a barbarian, which is tanky. This time we don't have any barbarians or paladins. And also mages, which have like high magic power. And he has peripheral arterial disease with no foot pulse. I have no idea what that is gonna do for us. And that's part of the fun, is discovering the absurdity of some of these weird traits. And he has a spell, which is kind of just like a Castlevania style magical attack that he can launch out. So he launches orbs that bounce everywhere. What about this one? So he's OCD. He must break stuff, and this restores his MP. And Lady Winry the Knave, she has ADHD, so she moves faster, and she's gigantic, my big love, and her spell is Quantum Translocator. You know what? Let's play as Sir Grey the Knave. He seems like the most basic character, which seems like a smart idea. And there's also almost like a 10 million style mechanic at play here, so basically the way it works is you're very unlikely to succeed entirely in Rogue Legacy on your first run, but every run you get gold. You can see I have 930 gold there, and I can use this gold to kind of upgrade different attributes in the form of like HP, MP, and attack power, as you can see, but also to unlock different kind of like tech tree paths and get new NPCs that'll be in the town that'll help me out. For example, here we can upgrade Barbarian to become Barbarian King. So this basically is just like a permanent upgrade for our Barbarian class. Let me see, we can upgrade our Mage, and the Mage will then become an Archmage. And I like to upgrade these right off the bat, just so that I have kind of everything unlocked as soon as possible. Do I have any? There's nothing else for me to spend my gold on here, so let's exit the manor. And the kind of cool gimmick around this is that, oh, I guess we jump a lot higher. I'm not sure what's up with that. But the cool gimmick here is that, we have 140 gold, and you might say that's awesome, but in order to get inside of the castle here, we actually have to lose all our gold. So that's the gimmick, is you want to like min-max your gold so that you're spending as much of it as possible before that dude takes it. Anyway, okay, so what are your micro and macro goals, essentially, in Rogue Legacy? I guess your macro goal is to, if you look at this map, beat all of the areas on here and all of the bosses contained therein. Sorry, I didn't mean to go to the diary there. Your micro goal, because it's very unlikely that you're going to succeed on your first few runs, is just to A, survive, and B, collect as much gold as possible while surviving. So basically the way we're going to do this is to kill... Oh, that was really stupid of me. Is to kill as many enemies as possible and basically break as much furniture as you possibly can. In this game, your principal enemy, at least when you start out, is, armoires, ottomans, and whatnot, which sounds like a great name for a furniture store to be lampooned in Portlandia or something. So what are our basic mechanics going on here? I should point out I'm using the Xbox 360 controller. I have never used WASD to play this game. I don't know how it handles. I hope pretty well, because it's pretty simplistic in terms of its controls. It controls basically like your standard Super Nintendo Castlevania 4 or something like that. But yes, basically X is attack. My analog stick is the move button. Or the move, the function you use to move, to phrase it in the most awkward way possible. And the B button is our magical attack, which I have not used yet, but I will when we come across a more difficult room. But again, essentially, all we're going to try to do here is kill as many enemies as possible, smash as much furniture as we can, and get a lot of gold. And this might seem really simplistic. It is a remarkably addictive game, and a big part of that addictive nature is in the fact that these runs finish really quickly. The average run that I have in Rogue Legacy probably ends up being on the order of 2 to 6 minutes at best, maybe. And I imagine that'll change the further and further you get along. Yes, I understand that there is indeed a chest in there, but I just kind of want to run through here first because I see there's a journal entry up there. There's a chest down here, which contains a staggering amount of gold. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that you know, your runs are going to be highly variable. As much as the game is skill-based to a certain extent, there is also an element of luck as well, but that's not necessarily a deterrent because, you know, a lot of games with roguelike elements have luck kind of inherently play a role in a lot of their, you know, functions. So let's go with our journal entry here. And I'm not really paying attention to the story, but basically we started with like a tutorial that makes us the Kingslayer, essentially. Can I get through here? Is there a secret door somewhere? And we try to, but then we play as like that king's heir, and we're trying to like get revenge for the king's death. I don't know. Again, if you want to follow the narrative more, I encourage you to watch my own series on it. The story is not that important, but yes, what I was saying is that the game is remarkably addictive. I expected those runs will get a little bit longer on average the more I play, as you might expect. But keep in mind, you know, there is a kind of a staggering amount of length to the game. Within my 3 hours, you know, collective of Rogue Legacy play, I have never beaten the boss on the first series of floors, which is the castle that we're in right now. Considering that the full version actually adds 3 more full areas, at least as far as I can tell, that strikes me as making this a game that could really be played for a really, really long time. Even if it was just the castle, it could probably be played for a really long time. But as is, you know, for the $10 that they're asking, it's a pretty staggering value. So there's another treasure chest up here. Again, ostensibly, we are looking for the boss, but it's very unlikely that we'll be able to beat the boss. So I'm kind of more just looking for, well, things like blueprints. That's awesome. The blueprints basically allow us to upgrade our blacksmith, who is an NPC in our town that gives us better armor. Or, well, he doesn't give us. He sells us better armor and weapons. But of course, in order to do this, we have to pay. But also, you know, he's like Charcy. He lost his Herodric Malice deep within the monastery. So we have to, you know, bring his blueprints back to him by venturing deeper and deeper into the castle. So this is a teleporter. Teleporter essentially is going to allow us to go back to base. Oh my god, we have entered the forest. Okay, well, initially I was like, I don't want to be here, but then I realized, why not? This is the whole point of these Let's Look Ats, is having a little bit of fun. So we'll see how long we can survive here. Looks like literally a couple seconds. That guy, oh, yeah, there we go, we've died. So that was actually probably a longer run than average, quite honestly. If I was playing this legitimately, odds are I probably would have just stayed inside of the castle. But anyway, let's see what we have here. Yarvin the Knave, Jimmy the Archmage. And let's go with that. He's Embellivis. You've got 2 left hands and can't cast spells properly. Well, that doesn't really make me feel too confident about being an Archmage. What about this guy? He's, or she's gay. She likes the ladies. I know that's a trait that has caused some controversy. But the flavor text for this used to be like, you're fabulous. So I think, you know, maybe they've made it a little bit more objective at the very least. And this guy's a knave. He's very small, and he has IBS, which basically means he's going to fart constantly. Let's play as him, because I tend to prefer the melee classes. We only have $410 here, so, you know, or gold, I guess I should say. What I'm going to do is upgrade my attack power, and then that's probably going to be all we're going to be able to do. With 115 gold, we can't really do much else. Let's talk about these NPCs. So again, if you talk to the blacksmith, he'll allow us to create some stuff, but we will need the blueprint. So he starts with like some basic equipment for helmets and you know, well, not armor, but like gauntlets and capes and stuff like that. But we also got this blood sword blueprint here. So this will give us minus 30 health, plus 9 damage, plus 35 weight. You do have kind of like a burden that you have to adhere to. But it also gives you plus 1 vampirism, which probably gives you a little bit of lifesteal every time you hit, which seems awesome. So maybe we'll try to get that with our next 500 gold. Our enchantress, I'm skipping over the dialogue here. And apologies for that, but she gives us like runes that we can use to upgrade our abilities. So, like, for example, this vault room allows us to do double jumps. What about there's some that like give you the ability to fly. What about this one? Increases the amount of gold you get from coins. That seems super awesome. Nothing here and nothing here. What about sword rune? This allows us to sprint. Anyway, we don't have the money for that, unfortunately. The architect is really interesting. What's neat about him is that, you know, as mentioned, all of the rooms or layouts in Rogue Legacy are procedurally generated, so they're going to be different every single time unless you play, you know, on, you know, the scale of like 1,000,000 runs or something like that, or a few 100,000 runs. But what's neat about the Architect is maybe you have a particular run where you really liked the layout. The Architect will actually allow you to save that layout for 50 gold and kind of make sure that the castle keeps that layout that you enjoyed so much. So it's kind of an interesting mechanic that I don't know if I've ever seen before. I haven't really managed to use it strategically. Okay, this, for like a good example, would definitely not be the kind of layout that I would want to save. Because right now it is just pure chaos and also spikes everywhere. Okay, so I'm probably gonna die pretty quickly here. We might as well use our magic attack just so you can see what's going on. Hopefully this will at least murder a couple of these things. I at least want to get enough gold to like upgrade our like get a rune or something, or get that vampirism sword, because really the limiting factor for my success so far has definitely been health. So you know, oh, well, we're gonna die really quickly. So the more lifesteal I can get, the more max HP I can get to a certain extent as well. But the more lifesteal I can get, the better. All right, we do have a Barbarian King here. That's fantastic. How about this guy? He's an Archmage. Okay, so let's go with the Barbarian King. He's a walking tank. He has the Barbarian Shout, which is what we upgraded Barbarians to be able to do. His trait is Vertigo. Welcome to Barfsville. He's also colorblind. This worries the shit out of me because I get motion sickness very easily. But oh my god. Okay. One complaint I could levy against, Jesus Christ. I could levy against Rogue Legacy, and this is definitely not an objective complaint, because some people are going to find this, like, hilarious. But some of the traits are not balanced for gameplay, they're balanced to make the game funny. And, you know, what's weird is that I've already beaten how well I did at the game last time. I've already performed better than the last run, believe it or not. Just because simply we got one of those gold bars right off the bat. You know, that's one of the caveats of having, like, randomized loot, I guess. But yeah, the traits are oftentimes focused on being funny, as opposed to being, you know, good from a gameplay standpoint. And that's fine, you know, it gives the game a certain charm, but also sometimes you end up in situations like this where the game is black and white and upside down, and that's horrifying for me. So I'm just gonna let myself get killed here, mostly because I feel like this is probably making for a pretty awful viewing experience for you guys out there. You might be finding it hilarious, but I actually am on the verge of throwing up. I do think it's cool how all of, like, the text stuff ends up being the opposite way as well. Okay, so now we have a Barbarian Queen. That's good. What about this guy at the top? A Paladin. Okay, so we have EDS, we're very flexible, and IBS, which means we're gonna fart. The axe is pretty good magic. We do have enough money to upgrade our HP. Yeah, we might as well just upgrade our HP and then move onward. I promise we will buy some equipment at some point in this video. So I haven't really talked too much about my meta impressions of Rogue Legacy, and I always tell you guys this: if I don't talk too much about how I enjoy the game, odds are I'm enjoying the game a great deal. So Rogue Legacy, I don't say this all that often, but I love you, Rogue Legacy. Now, I do enjoy the game a great deal. I think this is basically a must-buy if you are a fan of games like Spelunky in particular, but also, you know, there's elements of, like, the Binding of Isaac or something in here, just to make it more relatable, perhaps, to a larger audience. But yeah, it's one of those few games that comes along once or twice a year that really tickles my fancy from a an intensely addictive and replayable perspective. Last year, probably the closest approximation would be something like FTL. This kind of feels like a fantasy version of FTL to me. Okay, oh, careful. Watch out for the spikes. And, you know, that's not even the headiest praise I could lump on this game, but I definitely feel like at the asking price, this is an incredible value, and people who buy this game are going to be very pleased with the kind of value that they get out of it. And that's not just to say that, like, you know, games criticism comes down to, like, a time spent versus money spent. Oh, we got another blueprint. Fantastic. Comes down to, like, a time spent versus money spent function. For some people, admittedly, it does. But it's a fun game to play regardless. But the fact that it has, like, an insane amount of depth and replayability and an addictive nature is just kind of the icing on the cake of what is a very delicious cake. Perhaps maybe a marzipan or a cheesecake if you're into that. I'm a total poser. I actually don't know what marzipan is. Anyway, we're getting a little extra HP back. We have unlocked a teleporter here. I do, oh, okay, let's not go down here, because I'm concerned about that. Let's just try to stay alive. I do want to get to at least one boss fight over the course of this video. Now, it's, again, incredibly unlikely that I will beat this boss that we come across. But I'm interested in seeing, mainly, if there's another boss. Because in the demo version, in the castle, there was only one boss, and, you know, it would actually make perfect sense and be completely understandable if there was only one boss per area, because that's the way, you know, most games work. But I'm kind of interested to seeing if it's more like, again, like a Binding of Isaac style, I suppose, where, you know, maybe there's multiple possible bosses per floor or something. But if we don't come across one, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully, I mean, Rogue Legacy is such a simple game to both show off and describe. Like, the gameplay mechanics are simple enough that, you know, even a very young child can understand it. And there's no gore, so, you know, maybe a very young child might have a fun time with it, although you might have to explain. Very chest objective, take no damage. So, occasionally, there are going to be fairy chests, and what you have to do is take no damage in order to get to, in order to have the chest open for you, and usually get like a rune or a blueprint as a result. I'm gonna take damage though if I try to do this. I think I'd have to like fall down and then, yep, yeah, there we go. I already failed it. I was thinking like fall down through that platform and then do a mid-air jump. So that might be a situation where you would like need to get one of the rune upgrades from the Enchantress in order to get that, because in that situation that we had right there, I did not think that things were basically possible for me to do. Anyway, we're just gonna see if we can get some more gold. I do have enough to buy the like vampiric sword, or the blood sword, I think it was called, on my next run. Oh, and this is actually a really good opportunity to use magic, so we should be able to destroy that knight without even having to go up there, which saves me a lot of grief. We get a lot of money. Again, the only other complaint, and it's not even really an objective complaint that I could lob against Rogue Legacy, is that it is fairly luck-based. I mentioned that this is like a, at least at this level, the level I'm playing at. And again, this is something that's endemic to games with procedural elements or roguelike elements, because, I mean, there's no way for it not to be endemic to them. With every run that has, you know, variation, obviously some of those variations are going to be better than others, but to a certain extent it feels like, you know, like I'll have a run that feels successful, but I don't get it, like a run where I play really well, but I just don't get like a gold bar or something, or a gold bag, I should say. Instead, I just get like gold coins. And as such, that run ends up being like objectively less valuable to me than maybe a run where I played terribly, but I got a lot of gold bags instead of simple gold coins. Gold, for the reference here, gold bags are worth 100 gold, whereas gold coins, as you can see, are only worth 10. So, you know, it's the kind of thing that it's not a huge turnoff, but it is sometimes you're like, oh, well, I played really well, but I didn't really get anywhere. And, you know, that happens all the time in Spelunky and the Binding of Isaac as well, but, you know, it's just something worth noting. It's not necessarily a turnoff, but, you know, if you've never played a game with procedural generation like this, then it's worth noting. Oh, I'm gonna die here almost certainly. How am I still alive? I got a little extra HP back, actually. I got a ton of HP back. That is an incredibly lucky break for me. So yeah, as much as I paint that randomness as a negative, it's pretty clear that in that situation it helped me out a great deal. So we have 920 gold. Okay, this is our boss fight. And we did get some HP and MP recovery, which is awesome. We're still like 100% gonna lose. We got another blueprint, which is great. And what's up here? More money. Yes, we still are 100% gonna lose. There's no question about it. I'm just gonna see if I can get some more gold before we go into this boss fight without losing HP, because like, I'm definitely gonna die. I've never beaten this boss, assuming it's the same boss that I fought in the demo. So I might as well just do some exploration and see if I can get a little extra gold for my coffers, because otherwise, I'm gonna die anyway. Oh, well, now we're in the forest, so I might as well, I guess, just leave at this point. Play it cool here. This is like a Donkey Kong Country puzzle or something. Anyway, we made it out. Alright, let's go fight the boss and stop dilly-daddling around. Enter in here. It is indeed the Eye of, like, Oskavosh or something. I can't remember what it's called. Keteer. Okay, I was not even close. What game was I thinking of? Alright, so let's start throwing some magic in here. There are... Okay, I only had enough for, like, one axe, which is really unfortunate. And, you know, one more hit is going to kill me here. I'm going to get him, like, 20% of the way down. Just not good enough! Holy crap, I can't believe I survived, like, 10 seconds of that. Okay, now this is the part where I'm just like, yeah, that's the end of our lives. It was fun, though. Let's do one more run. Now that we have so much money, I might as well demonstrate what happens when you, like, pick up some equipment. Alright, so we have another Barbarian King, an Archmage, and what is this guy? You can't see in 3D, and you're bald. That's perfect for us. Fantastic. And you know what? I'm not going to spend any money here. I'm going to spend all of my money in the town. Because, you know, that's the kind of... the choice that you have at the start of every run is like, do you want to spend your money upgrading the attributes of your character or unlocking new tech trees, or do you want to, like, upgrade your equipment? And the equipment is persistent and will stick with you. So let's get the sword here. When it says E, I believe that means it's equipped. Yes, okay, so it is equipped. Fantastic. And what else can we get here? We have another 630 gold. What would this be? An extra 11 magic? What about the chest plate? An extra 9 armor? That seems like a good idea. And now we're basically at, like, our equipment burden. Alright, so maybe we can get a rune here. That'll allow us to sprint, but I want the one that gives me more gold. That seems like a smart idea. It's going to cost us 175. Beautiful. Alright, so now we should have, like, a gem in our chest plate that gives us more gold, and we'll do one more run here. And this is definitely, I would say, probably the best chance that we've had so far. But our odds of beating the boss are basically 0 here. But what's really cool about this is that it combines... It's not a pure... It sounds derisive when I say it like this, but it's not a pure game like Spelunky, where when you know, every run that you start is a little bit different. It does have that kind of like 10 million-ish experience going on, where you do improve yourself and your chances overall the more you play, not just from getting more skillful, but just from basically leveling up in almost a traditional RPG mechanic. And some people, that's not going to resonate with. I'm more of the mind where I prefer... We're doing a ton of damage here. I like this a lot. But I'm more of the mind where I prefer, the kind of purity of a game like Spelunky or The Binding of Isaac, where every run you start, you're kind of in exactly the same position. And you know, it's a tofu that the flavor of your run can impart itself on. That being said, that doesn't necessarily mean this is the wrong way, nor does it mean that this is not fun. Rogue Legacy is an intensely fun game in its own right. Do I take damage the more... I walk around? That seems to be what's happening to me occasionally, because I don't think I've gotten hit all that often, but I'm losing health on a fairly regular basis. Maybe I did get hit, but you know, the amount you get hit versus the amount you heal is obviously, you know, fairly, like the amount you get hit is substantially larger, or the damage you get hit for, I should say. Alright, so let's just try to platform effectively here. That's going to be our boss room, so obviously I'm a little bit scared about going there. There is a blueprint for the blood chest plate, so that would be part of this set, I guess. And I'm just actually wondering if that rune that we got, the chest plate rune that gives us 10% extra gold, I wonder if that actually is something that you have to buy at the start of every run. If so, that would make it more balanced, I guess, because getting 10% of gold back automatically just seems... like, it would pay for itself in, like, 2 runs. That was a weird little glitch-ish thing we had there. Should be... Oh, I really did not think I would take damage there. We're having a very good run here, 462 gold. It's unfortunate that I'll have to, you know, completely erase the save to start my, you know, playthrough of the game. But it's also, you know, we'll get a fresh start, shall we say. Oh, I forgot I had a blade wall here. So I don't even know what the blade wall does, effectively. I guess it's just a defensive shield. I can't even tell if these guys are attacking. Okay, I got very low on health there. And we're probably going to find ourselves dying any second now. Well, we got in a little extra HP, but that's still not enough to really defend me from even a single attack. So let's just try not to get hit by an arrow. Maybe I can kill this level 35 rage thing. I mean, obviously, as you can see, I'm only level 13, so it's probably not in my best interest to be attacking monsters that are level 35. Oh, I don't know if I can get through here. Oh, yeah, there we go. We have died. Alright, so that's going to do it for my Let's Look At of Rogue Legacy, but stay tuned for a lot more Rogue Legacy coverage on the channel. Can't stress this enough. If you're a fan of games like FTL, The Binding of Isaac, and Spelunky, I would definitely say that Rogue Legacy is essentially a must-purchase. It's one of the most fun times that I've had with the game so far this year, and for $10, I think it's $10. If it's $15, though, that doesn't really change things. This is a game that you could easily spend, you know, the vast majority of your summer with, I feel. So as always, thanks for watching. There will be a link in the video description to pick up the game if you are interested, and I think most of you should be. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.